What's up, everybody? Victory Monday for your Minnesota Vikings. I'll give it a couple minutes, let some people pile in off of Facebook, off of YouTube. Hopefully, get some of y'all off of Twitter as well. Just give it a couple minutes. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Let me see. What's up, guys? Another huge win for the Minnesota Vikings. What's up, Justin? Feel free to tap in if you want to, man. I'm just going to come on here and give my little Victory Monday reaction, man. It was a huge win yesterday. Obviously, big comeback, but against the team we did it against was the main thing. Going into this game, a lot of us, I mean, I had us winning this game. And I don't know if I was drinking the purple Kool-Aid. Obviously, I wasn't because it came true. But I would say about half of the fan base kind of chalked this one up as an L, especially with Josh Allen playing. And I chalked this up as an L before the season started. I think a lot of us did. Looking at the schedule, we all looked and said, hey, the Buffalo Bills are going to be a Super Bowl contender. It's in Buffalo. The weather's probably going to be rough. That's going to be a loss for us. Well, we found a way to win just like we do every single week, it seems like. But the difference between this week and weeks prior is that it's against those Buffalo Bills that we all consider Super Bowl contenders. It was on the road. It was against a very good team, which national media always throws on not just Kirk Cousins, but the Minnesota Vikings, that we can't beat a winning team. We went out there and we beat a Super Bowl contending team that the national media has been drooling all over for the past few months. So we got the big win. And on top of that, I got to talk about it, man. I got to talk about it. That catch by Justin Jefferson was, I don't even know if there's words for that. That catch was so fucking ridiculous. When I was watching it, I thought it was intercepted. I thought it got picked off. I didn't think Justin Jefferson came down with it until he rolled over and I seen our sidelines flipping the hell out. But what a fucking catch. Greatest catch I've ever seen. That's not biased. You can line that up right next to the OBJ catch. And it didn't have this much significance as the Justin Jefferson catch. It was 4th and 18. I mean, it was over. The game was over. And I know each and every one of us Vikings fans who can say all we want. Hey, well, there was still one last play, and I never give up. 4th and 18. Things aren't looking good for us. We pretty much chalked it up. Say, you know what, we fought a good fight. It's 4th and 18. Looks like Von Miller's getting after it now. But Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson said, hell no. Throw that damn ball up. I'm going to come down with it. And Justin Jefferson, I have no idea how or why, comes down with the catch of the century. Absolutely amazing. Once we made that catch, I said, you know what? We're winning this goddamn game. There wasn't a doubt in my mind. And then you obviously have the amazing goal line. Well, I can't even say goal line stand. They're down there at the 1 inch line. They fumble it, give us the ball back. Actually got a touchdown on that play. Hey, my guy Justin, what's going on, Justin?
Chilling. How y'all doing?
Man, just chilling, enjoying this big Victory Monday, man.
I tell you what, if you don't believe now, you're never going to believe. I'm just going to say it like that.
Are we a good team yet, Justin?
I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I really do. I mean, in all seriousness, what's funny about all this talk this week about Case Keenum and Josh Allen and all the, well, would you rather have a victory versus Case or a loss versus Josh? It's like, no, I'd rather have a victory versus Josh. But obviously, I will take a victory either way. But we got the best of both worlds. So I don't want to hear any more talk about, well, we play backup quarterbacks or teams. Are we going to go back and revisit throughout the history of playoff teams and Super Bowl winning teams as to, well, this team got this, but they got to play a backup quarterback in week 5, and that's the reason they got into the playoff? Stop with this mess. They're a good team. They're a mind-boggling team. They're mind-boggling as how, once again, we've been saying it for weeks, you're not going to get away with this against good teams. Well, they got away with it, but it took absolutely everything. And you still don't want to keep playing with fire, but all I care about is we went into Buffalo, we won a game, then we lost it, then we won it again, and then we lost it again. And at the end of it, when the final bell rung, the W goes to us. And the sky's the limit for this team. This defense gives up way too many yards and points at times, but they are clutch. This whole team is clutch. It's not just Kirk being clutch anymore. It's everybody being clutch. But it was just one of those games where there were 3 times where I just jumped up and like, that did not just happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when is the last time, and even, I don't care, Joe Espinosa, any Kirk stand out there, 4th and 18 come out at 2-minute warning. We all like, okay, this has got like this has got a 5% chance of happening, right? And I don't, for the life of me, understand what Leslie Frazier and Buffalo was thinking by only sending 4 guys against Kirk Cousins on 4th and 18. Whatever you say, we know what this guy's strengths and weaknesses are. You let him sit back there with a clean pocket and let the routes develop when you needed to stop him on 4th and 18, and you gave him what he wanted. I mean, if you really, outside of looking at that Justin Jefferson ridiculous catch, which you just talked about, if you look at it right before he catches it, there's 5 guys all in a circle around him. And in addition to that catch being ridiculous as it was, that pass was equally as insanely ridiculous. Why Buffalo didn't blitz Kirk Cousins on that play, I will not know, and I do not care.
Yeah, no, you take it. What's even crazier about it is that once it got down to crunch time, and right before it got down to where it really got tight in that game, for some reason, Kirk Cousins was like force feeding KJ Osborne. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's him trying to set something up later in the game for Justin Jefferson. I don't know what it was, but there was like 2 drives where he just could not look off KJ Osborne. But when it came down to where it got to a 1-possession game and we need to get downfield and put some points on the board, Kirk Cousins was making it an emphasis of, I need to get the ball to Justin Jefferson. I don't care if he's double covered. Yep. I don't care if he's triple covered. I'm going to get the ball to Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson made plays. Obviously, that huge play for the one-handed catch. But that's not the only huge play that Justin Jefferson had in that game. He also had that big catch. It was in overtime that got us down to the 1-yard line. Unfortunately, we couldn't punch it in. But that's another huge play, and another play where Kirk Cousins saw that, hey, he's double covered, he's blanketed, but I'm just going to give him a chance anyways. And he came down with it. And that, if you had any doubts of Justin Jefferson being the best receiver in the league, you shouldn't have them after yesterday. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no one that I'd rather have on my team as a wide receiver than Justin Jefferson. That was a ridiculous performance by Justin Jefferson. What was it? 10 catches, 193 yards, and a touchdown. Just absolutely ridiculous. And when you need him the most, just like Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson comes through in the clutch. I mean, what more can you say? I know you don't want to put too much emotion in a regular season game. It's not the playoffs. It's not like we clinched the division, yada, yada, yada. You can say all you want. But as a Minnesota Vikings fan, you can't help but to be excited with what is coming later on in the season. We're all waiting for the downfall and us to have the heartbreak. But when you see this team conquering things that normal Minnesota Vikings teams just don't let happen, or just or just doesn't happen for Minnesota Vikings teams in the past,
Right.
it makes you wonder, like, what if this season is different? What if we are? What if it is our time? What if it is our year? That's what it's starting to feel like for me, at least, as a Minnesota Vikings fan. I'm starting to look at it and say, you know what? It's not just one thing that normally doesn't happen with us. It's every single week. Something
Yes.
that normally doesn't go our way is going the Minnesota Vikings way. So you can't help but to feel like, hey, maybe it is our year. Am I crazy to feel that way?
No, I think if you would have said that maybe after when we beat New Orleans or maybe we beat Miami in that time frame where it was still, yeah, the Vikings won, but yeah, they came back and won against the Lions, and then they came back and won against the Saints, and then the Bears, and then the Dolphins without Tua. At that point in time, I would have said, yeah, you're probably a little crazy. We're past that. We are beyond, anything at this point. We are now past the halfway point of the season. We've got the second best record in the NFL, and we've only lost to the team with the best record in the NFL. So, no, you're not crazy. I mean, that's what I said the last couple of weeks on my channel when I was like, okay, are they really contenders yet? And the one I dropped this morning, my headline was, the Vikings knock out the Bills and any doubt. There's no doubt. Yep. The doubt is gone. Now, does that guarantee that they're going to finally, get to a Super Bowl or win it? No, of course not. But what it guarantees at this particular point in time is that this team will not ever be out of a game. And I'm going to say it like this, a couple things. On the team itself and on the quarterback, when that team was down 27-10 in the middle of the third quarter, that game turned on that Dalvin Cook touchdown run, okay?
Yep.
But I want you to think about the mentality of this team and the mentality of this coaching staff. There is no way on God's green earth Mike Zimmer-led teams would have come back yesterday. No chance, okay? Let's just call it for what it is. And again, I don't want to go too much further down the road of always comparing, this team to Mike Zimmer's team, but this team got punched in the mouth. They got kicked in the gut. And as much as I'm praising Kevin O'Connell right now, he, as I said in our group chat, he completely outsmarted himself at the end of the first half by not running the ball on third and fourth down, because that's where we haven't played the best, but we took a couple big punches from Buffalo after the turnover. The defense held them to a field goal, and that's a punch that usually we don't get up from. And I thought that was our opportunity to counterpunch, and we didn't take advantage of that. And then we got punched in the face again, and now we're down 14.5, and we're all like, okay, we don't have it today. But having said all that, to your point about Justin Jefferson just being, getting the clutch performer that he is, that pass in overtime that you referenced to down to the 2-yard line, that is not a pass that Kirk Cousins makes last year. It's not. Nope. And with all due respect to the Kirk Cousins stands like Joe and Paul Chartian and all the hardcore stands trying to say, well, everybody's trying to say Kirk is more clutch this year, and then bringing up all of these menial stats from last year and a couple of, fourth quarter drives that Kirk Cousins had. If you honestly think that this Kirk Cousins is not at a different level than what Kirk Cousins was previously, then you're selling your own guy short. This guy has taken a step that a lot of us thought maybe it's possible and maybe it's not. In fact, it's funny. Mike just tweeted me. Did you see this tweet from Charging? Oh, yeah, I saw it. It's like, don't talk to me about how he had a game-tying drive last year against the Dallas Cowboys, and then the defense gave it up. You scored 16 points in that game to begin with. You don't get to talk about how he was clutch to get a game-leading field goal against the Cooper whatever rush-led Dallas Cowboys team. So all I'm saying is that there are passes that this year Kirk Cousins would not have made previously. You saw a whole bunch of them yesterday. The only thing I want to see is I want to see this Vikings offense not wait until they're desperate to get cooking. Okay, it would be nice if we didn't wait till we're down 14, 17 points to finally say, all right, I guess we should start playing now. It's kind of like in the NBA where you're just kind of moseying along until the middle of the fourth quarter, and you're the Golden State Warriors against the Timberwolves, and it's like, all right, the Timberwolves are up 5. Let's just go ahead and blow them out, and then they go on a 21-7 run and end up winning by 15. We don't need to wait until late in the game to do stuff like this. But just enjoy the heck out of it. I mean, if you're up in Minnesota now, we got some snow and it's accumulating here. So we finally got our first real snowfall here. Not horrible, but you know what? It's football. It's the middle of November, and we are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL, maybe even top 3. That's all I got to say. What's up, Rap? How you doing? What's up,
Yeah,
Toledo?
man,
How y'all doing?
it's got to be top 3 at this point. After a win like that, and a win like that, what that does for the team. Now, if they didn't already believe they can beat anybody in the league, now they do. But not only that, with a victory like that on the road against a team that a lot of people considered the best team in the league or considered a top Super Bowl contender, that injects a confidence in this team saying, you know what, anything is possible.
Yep.
This isn't just a shot in the dark. We're just kind of skating away with victories. We're finding a way to win week in and week out, regardless of the opponent, whether it's a 2-6 football team or whether it's a 6-2 football team. We're going to find a way to win. And going into this game, I had us winning by a little bit more because, I mean, I'm gonna pat myself on the back here. I'm not gonna be cocky about it, but I said if Case Keenum played this game, I mean it was a close game regardless. But if
Right.
Case Keenum played this game, the Bills weren't going to turn the ball over as much, and it was going to be a lot closer game. But the Vikings would still come out on top. And I said if Josh Allen played, the Buffalo Bills offense will turn the ball over multiple times and will win by double digits. Now, we didn't win by double digits, but I did state they turned the ball over 4+ times. They turned the ball over 4 times. I did state Dalvin Cook would rush for over 100 yards. He rushed for over 100 yards, and we came away with the victory. But the thing with the Buffalo Bills is that they're so used to blowing out teams. And this is going to be a problem for the Philadelphia Eagles, too. The Philadelphia Eagles have failed to have a close game this year. I think they had a close game against Arizona. I think that was their only close game.
The
Lions. That's right, at the beginning of the season. When it's all fine and dandy blowing out teams. It's a great feeling. You want to have the game over by middle of the third quarter and you can kick your feet up and relax. But what that does is when you do come across the team or do come across the game where things get tight and you have to do the little things right, like catching the snap from the center at the 1-yard line or not throwing a red zone interception that's going to get the other team back in the game. When you're in tight games like this and you're not battle tested, it showed yesterday. Us having 6 one-possession games in a row that ended up victories showed that comes in handy later on in the season when you do have close games against good teams that aren't used to being in tight games like this. And the Buffalo Bills showed yesterday that when it comes down to those tight games and you're in the clutch, you got to be ready and you got to do those little things right. And the Minnesota Vikings, week in and week out, do the little things right when it comes to these tight games. And that's the reason why we come out on top, whether that be penalties, which yesterday the penalty yardage actually ended up being the exact same, if I'm not mistaken. But at the beginning of that game, we were getting killed by penalties. I think the Bills had 1 penalty for 10 yards. We had like 6 for 50 yards. As the game went on, the game got tighter. Buffalo Bills penalties started, tallying up, started getting closer to our penalty yardage. So once that evened out and things got tight and things got into the clutch, the Minnesota Vikings knew what to do and the Buffalo Bills didn't. And that's what it came down to.
Exactly. I mean, I'll say like the announcing crew on Fox made a point that the Vikings had to take some of their extra timeouts and didn't have them later on, which is something they haven't had to do. The Vikings weren't doing as many little things right as they had been. Well, yeah, they're playing a better team. They're playing Buffalo, and they're playing Buffalo in Buffalo. So that's going to happen. So what their point is that the Vikings are losing out on some of the extracurricular advantages that they have to be able to.
Oh, did we lose Justin for a second? Looks like we might have lost Justin for a second. But yeah, man, you got to commend this team. Looks like he's loading back up to get back in, hopefully. But you got to commend this team, man. Week after week, we find a way to win, and we
Are
came
you
away
back?
with a big win
Are
against a very good team in the Buffalo Bills. What's up, Justin? You're breaking up a little bit, Justin. Try to hop out and hop back in. Josh Pierman. Ingram needs to figure out how not to step on Kirk. Yes, most definitely. Hold on real quick. Let me get Justin out of here so it's not. There we go. But yeah, no. I know a lot of national media was kind of saying, "Oh, well, the Vikings offensive line looked great. Kirk Cousins wasn't even touched. Blah 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 blah." Look, our offensive line, they stepped up when they needed to, but there was times, especially Ed Ingram, where you're stepping on Kirk Cousins' foot, costing us 5 yards, 6 yards at a time. There was a time where Bradbury, I think, stepped on Kirk Cousins' foot as well. But there is some adjustments that need to be made. But again, we've talked about this early in the season where we're getting away with these victories against not so great teams, is that these close games are going to come in handy later on in the season. Because we can't sit here and say we haven't seen it before. We've seen everything before. What's up, Justin?
All right, I think I'm back now here. No, I guess I'll just wrap it by saying this.
You're back.
We all love that 1998 team, but one of the things they all used to say is that they were just having green light after green light after green light, and all of a sudden against Atlanta, they had a whole bunch of red lights, and they weren't as battle tested as they needed to be. So to your point, sometimes it's not always about having the better team or the most complete team, but not to go too far old school, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of the 1984 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Celtics back when the Celtics they were good. And don't get me wrong, but that year the Lakers were a better team, but the Celtics ended up beating them in the finals because they had that extra moxie. They had that extra internal fortitude, that extra battle testedness. And to your point, this team is nowhere near as good as 2009 or 1998, but they are battle tested. And they, as you said, Philadelphia hasn't been battle tested yet. Okay. I'm not saying whatever. I don't think they're going to lose to Washington tonight. That would be great if they did. But to your point, I'll take this team anytime, anywhere against anybody because they're probably not going to blow anybody out, but they're probably not going to get blown out either. And when you have a chance to win a game at the end, that's all that really matters. And the sky's the limit right now for this team. And I can't believe I'm saying it.
Yeah, and you say this team isn't as good as the 2017 or 2009 or 98 team. Let's put a yet on the end of that.
I'll say this. To be clear, 98, they're not better than. 2009, they're not better. I didn't say 17. 17, I think they're better than 17. I'll say that right now. They're better than 17. Because even though that defense was more of a shutdown defense where they would get stops on 3rd and 4th down a lot better than this team would,
it's the offense.
That defense didn't get as many takeaways as it should have for as good as it was. And this team is. Now, offensively, you only had Dalvin Cook for 4 weeks. Case Keenum obviously is not Kirk Cousins. I mean, Thielen was better than he is now. Diggs, Jefferson, you can make that as kind of a wash. But I'll take TJ Hawkinson at this point over what Kyle Rudolph was back in 2017 all day, every day. So that's a discussion, but I'll say it right now. I'll take this team over 2017. No question. No question.
Yeah, no, I'm there for sure over 2017. But again, week in and week out, we see improvement. Now, we talked about Kirk Cousins. We talked about this offense. But, God damn it, we got to give this defense some credit, Justin. This defense, man, again, week in and week out, they continue to get better. And when we need the defense the most, they come through, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a big 4th down stop. They come through. They make it happen. They give this offense opportunities to get back in games when we are down. So, again, it goes back to trying to govern your excitement for this team because, again, we are Vikings fans and we always feel like there's something bad right around the corner about to happen. But you got to sit back and you got to enjoy what this team is doing, not just on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball too. I mean, Patrick Peterson is the ageless wonder, dude. 2 picks yesterday. And outside of Justin Jefferson's amazing catch and obviously the Josh Allen fumble at the 1-inch line, those Patrick Peterson interceptions were the biggest plays of the game. if the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen score on Patrick Peterson's first interception there on that 4th down, the game's over.
It's over.
It's over. The game is if they get a field goal there, the game is over. But Patrick Peterson finds a way, gets an interception. Bad pass by Josh Allen, by the way. Gets the interception, gives this team an opportunity, which we fully take advantage of. And real quick, I want to go back to that Eagles game, just really, really quick. We were down, 24-7? I think the game ended 24-7, right?
Yep.
The defense gave us opportunities to get back in that game. They had the Jordan Hicks interception that got us inside the 10-yard line. Kirk Cousins ended up throwing the interception in the end zone. And I think he threw 1 or 2 other interceptions in the end zone that game. So, and I think we had a big 4th down stop against the Eagles in that game.
Had a blocked field goal. That blocked field goal.
The blocked field goal that put us in scoring position. So, even in our loss, this defense gave the offense opportunities to get back in this game and win that game. So, again, week in and week out, this defense is continuing to show the fan base, hey, we're not just this team that's going to bend over and let offenses run up and down the field on us. We are actually turning into that bend, don't break defense that we are expecting. Yes, we're giving up some yards in the air. We're letting them, put together some drives. But when it comes down to inside the red zone and we got to play defense and we got to play tight defense, we come away most of the time with an opportunity for our offense. So, hey, man, you got to give credit to this defense. I'm absolutely loving what I'm seeing, not just from the offense, but from the defense, from the special teams. Outside of Greg Joseph, man, and look, we're not going to get started on Greg Joseph too long. That missed extra point was huge.
I'll say this.
He gave us the go-ahead field goal. You got to give him that, right?
I'll say this. I'm so looking forward to tonight's show on Purple and Gold for Day, sponsored by TPC, Day with Mike and Kyla. Mike A was at that game with boss man Rick. I can't wait to hear him talk about his experience. And I really can't wait for him to go off on Greg Joseph, because 2 weeks ago he went on an epic rant. This might be a legendary rant. But to your point about Patrick Peterson, I mean, he must have drank something from the fountain of youth at halftime, because in that first half he was getting burned left and right, and everybody was. Yeah. But to your point, at the time, I kind of poo-pooed it about how because it was 24-7 at half in Philly, and that's how the final score was. And I kind of said, well, maybe Philly took their foot off the gas a little bit. They realized that the Vikings offense couldn't get anything done. Why take some chances? I might have to revisit that a little bit to say, you know what? You shut them out in the second half by hook or by crook. You only gave up 6 points to the Buffalo Bills yesterday in the second half, and 3 of them were on that last second drive, which I don't know. As much as I want to praise that defense right now, I want to say, what in the heck were you doing that last drive of the game, just letting them just chunk you, letting them getting out of bounds and not having anybody within 15 yards. But having said all that, to your overall point, this defense, it can take a little for it to get going, because they kind of have gotten gashed a little bit in first halves, but they make adjustments at halftime. They find a way to take away what teams do. They have a tendency to do what teams have done to us. In other words, we're really good on our first drive, and then we fall asleep for a while. The defense, after the opposing team has their first drives or 2 or 3 drives, they have had a tendency to find a way to lock stuff down. So to your point, and I said this on my morning musings, this game is all about the defense. There have been times where the special teams picked up both offense and defense. There'll be times when the offense has picked up the defense. But yesterday, in addition to that second half where they shut them down to give the opportunity, they actually shut them down a little bit in the first half too, by not letting the score get completely out of control. Listen, they got a 3-and-out on the first drive. Okay, the next 2 drives they gave up touchdowns, but then they held them to a field goal after the interception, like we talked about. And that 2-minute touchdown that they gave up, that's also a product of the Vikings offense and coaching calls, putting them in bad situations, because Josh Allen should not have had that drive at the end of the first half. The Vikings should have found a way to at least get a first down, or at least take some of the time off the clock. So I'm not going to – the defense is absolutely the number one reason why this team won that game yesterday, and why they have been in position to pull out these games late, whether it's a late game interception or a late game stealing the ball from Amir Smith-Marset. This defense is what is closing these games out.
Yeah, and And on top of that, yesterday's game, usually, I mean, in the games prior, we were always talking about the Vikings catching breaks time after time again. The Vikings weren't catching all the breaks in this game.
No,
There
no.
was an obvious incomplete pass to Gabe Davis
I'm
on that
still
last
mad about that.
drive
Oh my
that
gosh.
they didn't review, they didn't bother even looking at. Then you had multiple if I'm not mistaken, there was another play in that game where the refs just the 12 men on the
12
field,
men. Yes,
the
yes.
12 men on the field when Dalvin Cook lost 3 or 4 yards on the goal line. That wasn't reviewed. That there wasn't a flag on that play. So that's two instances that could have completely changed the game that went the opposite way of the Vikings and that still didn't defer them from winning this game. And on top of that, Dalvin Cook dropping a go-ahead touchdown for the game winner. Now, granted, luckily we got the muffed snap and got in the end zone anyways.
Right.
But, you know, if Dalvin Cook catches that clean, he walks in the end zone. We're not talking about QB sneak that was stuffed at the 1 yard line. We're not talking about a muffed QB snap. But to be honest with you, that gave the Buffalo Bills that would give Buffalo Bills an extra 10, 15 seconds to possibly take a shot at the end zone at the end of that game. So there's a lot of factors and a lot of context that go into this game of things that could have happened and breaks that went the Buffalo Bills way, breaks that went the Minnesota Vikings way. But regardless, the Vikings came out on top. They found a way to win. And we're 8-1, man. You got to be excited as a Minnesota Vikings fan. We're 8-1, and we're coming back home for 2 straight home games against the Cowboys and against the New England Patriots on Thanksgiving. So we got a lot to be excited about, Justin. We're gonna wrap this
Yeah,
thing
we
up
do.
real soon here. But anything you want to leave the people with? I know you guys got a show later on tonight too, so go ahead and
Yeah.
plug that.
Yeah, check us out tonight, both on the Purple Code as well as on my page, Purple and Gold for Days. It's going to be lit. Like I said, Mike was at that game yesterday. I know he's going to have a lot to rant about and to tell some stories. Check out my page with my morning musings this morning. But I guess I'll just end it by saying this. We said going into this that this was going to be the gauntlet, the 3 games in under 2 weeks, where you got the Cowboys at home after yesterday's Buffalo game, and then the Patriots before your mini bye against the Jets. You know, you just kind of hoping that you can go 2-1 in that stretch. Well, we got the hard one out the way. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the amount of injuries we sustained yesterday, because to your point about catching breaks, you know, you make your own breaks. And you know what? Good teams cry about the officials, you know, screwing them over. Great teams overcome that and overcome a very good team on the road. But this is going to be a real true test. And I'm glad it's a home game because, you know, the secondary's got some injuries. We don't know the status of Christian Darrisaw as of yet. I don't know that any reports have come out at this particular point in time. But having said all that, the sky's the limit, and it is all right in front of them. And I got a Cowboys fan and I got a Packers fan at work here with me. So I just kind of crept up and just kind of threw some stuff into the fire to let those guys talk some trash. I'd be like, oh man, I so wish McCarthy had been able to get his win yesterday because he's not going to get one next week. But having said all that, this is fun. If you're not enjoying this, then I don't know why you're a fan. And yes, you know, we, as Vikings fans, we're always going to be skeptical. We always are. We're always going to be Charlie Brown waiting for Lucy to pull the ball out. But at some point, you got to let that go, and you just got to enjoy the heck out of this, because if you didn't jump out of your seat when Jefferson caught that pass, if you didn't jump out of your seat when all of a sudden you heard everybody yelling, no, it's not a safety, there was a fumble in the end zone, and if you're not saying to yourself, I can't believe that just happened, but we'll take it, hey, I don't know what to tell you. We're having fun. We are having fun. So, yes, join us tonight. It's going to be fun. 6:30 Central Time, leading right into Monday Night Football game. Again, sponsored by, and in fact, I put the tickers up early, but let's get the reads out here. Thank you to Rinaldi's Pizza and Pasta in Woodbury, as well as Nautical Bowls in Woodbury. You're looking for something tonight to watch that Monday Night Football game as we cheer on the commies, hopefully to get a loss to Philadelphia. Check them out there on Hudson Place is Nautical Bowls, and Rinaldi's is on Wood Lane Drive. So there you go.
1560 Wood Lane Drive. Go ahead and tap with them, mention the purple code, and they'll get you that family discount. That's
family
our
discount
family down there.
There
Yes, sir. Rinaldi's and Nautical Bowl. So And if you don't already, be sure to subscribe to the Purple Code YouTube page. And then as well as the Facebook, our new Facebook, our old one got hacked. So we're building up our new Facebook here. So go ahead and follow us. The Purple Code backup page on Facebook and as well on Twitter at the Purple Code. Ooh, Purple Code 1. So, hey, man, again, like you said, you got to be excited. It's fun. We're 8-1, baby. So halfway through the season.
You still trying to get up here for that Colts game?
No, I actually postponed. I'm not going to do the Colts game. I'm actually going to do the home playoff game. So,
okay.
I changed it.
Well, we're going to have some, we're going to have, I'll hopefully, and again, I know it's still behind the scenes, but we're definitely going to have to try to get out to Renali's again. I'm going to try to get there and meet you this time.
Oh, yeah. Every time I'm out there, we're doing a show, most definitely. So we're going to make it happen. Awesome. But yeah, everybody, thank you for tapping in. The Vikings are 8-1 after a huge win in Buffalo. So enjoy your day, guys. Enjoy the Monday night game. Again, tap in for a day with Mike and Kayla down here tonight at, what you say, 6:30 Eastern?
6:30 Central time, so 45 minutes prior to the start of Monday Night Football. 6:30 Central.
There you go. Make sure you tap in with them. It should be a good show. Going to talk about the Bills and obviously touch on the Cowboys game coming up. So, again, thank you guys for tapping in. This is the Purple Code, SK and Justin Day. Peace.